Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that every road out of your country leads to the same place, the same neighbor. Oceans are honest prisons. You can see them, you can feel them. But some countries are trapped by something far more complicated than water. They are trapped by politics, by history, by a single neighbor they cannot escape. Look at South Korea on a map. 3 sides. Water, one side. A sealed, fortified wall of land. A demilitarized zone that is paradoxically one of the most militarized strips of Earth on the planet. 2.5 miles wide, 160 miles long, 12.5 million landmines. South Korea is technically connected to the Asian continent, but practically, functionally, it is an island. If you want to drive from Seoul to Paris, and yes, technically there is a road, you would have to cross through one of the most secretive, hostile regimes on Earth. Every container ship, every cargo flight, every trade route. South Korea is one of the world's largest economies, the 13th biggest, and yet it moves through the world the way an island does, through air and water alone. Because the land is a locked door, and that psychological weight, that knowledge that the only road out of your country leads somewhere you cannot go, that is a very particular kind of suffocation. What if it wasn't just one border that trapped you? What if every single border crossing in every single direction led to the exact same country? Welcome to Lesotho, a kingdom of 2 million people perched in the highlands of southern Africa, entirely, completely swallowed by South Africa. It has no coast, no alternative neighbor, no escape hatch. If South Africa closed its borders tomorrow, Lesotho stops. Full stop. No food, no medicine, no fuel, no anything. Geographers call this a enclaved state. The clinical term fails to capture what it actually feels like. Now, cross 8,000 miles of ocean to the Mediterranean. There is a place on Earth so tiny that you could walk its entire border in less than 3 hours. 61 square kilometers, 34,000 people. And yet, it is a fully sovereign nation, San Marino, the world's oldest republic, founded in 301 AD, completely surrounded by Italy. San Marino has no army that could resist Italy's, no resource Italy needs, no leverage in the traditional sense, and yet it has survived for 1,700 years. Because sometimes the geography of isolation is not just a prison, sometimes it is a shield. Not every border bleeds openly. Ireland shares this island with one neighbor, the United Kingdom, and the border between them is not drawn in stone. It is drawn in blood. For 30 years, between 1968 and 1998, this island was a war zone. The Troubles. 3,500 people killed, tens of thousands injured. The border between Northern Ireland and the Republic wasn't just a line, it was a front. The Good Friday Agreement in 1998 ended the hot war. The border dissolved physically. The checkpoints came down. You could drive from Dublin to Belfast without stopping. And then came Brexit. Suddenly, the question that the Good Friday Agreement had buried, what happens at this border, came roaring back. Because Ireland shares its island with the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom post-Brexit is outside the European Union, which means that 310 miles of open countryside is now technically the external land border of the European Union. The border is invisible. The wound is not. And then there is the opposite problem. Canada shares land with exactly one country, one neighbor, 8,891 kilometers of border, the longest international boundary on the planet. Canada is the second largest country on Earth by area. It is a G7 nation, a nuclear alliance partner, a country of 40 million people with one of the highest standards of living on the planet. And yet, it has only one neighbor. One. And that neighbor accounts for roughly 75% of everything Canada exports. 75%. Think about what that means. If America sneezes, Canada doesn't catch a cold. Canada is already in the ambulance. Canada and the United States are allies, friends, partners by culture, language, and law. But friendship does not eliminate dependency. And dependency, when you have only one neighbor, is the quietest, most invisible trap of all. The gate has never been closed, but every Canadian knows, theoretically, it could be. Geography is never neutral. Every border is a choice someone made, or a war someone won, or a line someone drew in a treaty room, far from the people who would live with it forever. South Korea didn't choose its northern wall. Lesotho didn't choose to be surrounded. Ireland didn't choose its history. Canada didn't choose its only neighbor. And yet, they endure. They trade. They negotiate. They adapt. They find ways to breathe inside geographies that were never designed for comfort. Because in the end, a map doesn't trap a people. It only shows you the terrain of the challenge ahead, which leaves me with one question I want to leave in the comments for you. Drop your answer below. I read every single one. And if this video made you look at a map differently, if you'll never see a border as just a line again, then hit subscribe, because this is exactly what we do here.